Chash.
The Curse of Blackwood Manor. On the outskirts of a forgotten town stood Blackwood Manor, a brooding, decaying estate steeped in mystery and tragedy. Legend spoke of a vengeful spirit bound to the house by a dark family secret, its halls stained with the echoes of unspeakable horrors. Generations of the Blackwood family had succumbed to the curse, love twisted into madness, honor corrupted into cruelty. Over time, the manor became a graveyard of despair, its silence a prison for lost souls. The locals whispered warnings. Anyone who disturbs the stillness of Blackwood Manor will be claimed by it. Yet on a cold October evening, 4 inseparable friends, Ethan, Rachel, Mark, and Lisa, chose to ignore the warnings. Their fascination with the paranormal had led them to haunted houses before, but none as infamous as this. Ethan, the fearless leader, carried a confidence that masked his hidden fears. Rachel, analytical yet intuitive, often found herself caught between reason and instinct. Mark, the skeptic, relied on humor to dispel his unease. And Lisa had a sixth sense, a gift, or a curse. She felt things before they happened. Armed with flashlights, cameras, and recording devices, they stepped through the rusted iron gate, unaware that by sunrise, their names would be whispered in fear. The manor awakens. The air was thick, the night unnaturally still. The wind howled mournfully through the broken eaves as the group approached the manor. Its towering silhouette loomed over them, its windows like dark, unblinking eyes. A dense fog curled around their feet, winding through overgrown hedges like ghostly fingers trying to pull them back. The front door creaked open before they touched it. Inside, time had stopped. Dust choked the air, the scent of mildew mixing with something metallic. Portraits of long-dead Blackwoods lined the walls, their eyes following the trespassers. The warped wooden floors groaned under each hesitant step. Then came the whispers, soft at first, barely a breath against the walls. "Turn around." Rachel's heart pounded. "Did you hear that?" No one answered, because they had. Mark swung his flashlight down the corridor. At the far end, something stood watching. A figure. Gaunt, impossibly tall, its deep-set eyes gleaming with an unnatural light, and it was smiling. The moment their lights flickered, the figure vanished. But the house had seen them now, and it was hungry. A house of horrors. Splitting up was the worst decision, but they did it anyway. Mark and Lisa ventured into the library, its towering bookshelves weighed down by time. A grand chandelier swayed above them, though there was no wind. Then, without warning, books toppled from the shelves, pages fluttering like panicked birds. Lisa gasped as something ice-cold brushed the back of her neck. Mark turned just in time to see her face go pale. "Lisa?" She pointed, trembling. Behind him, a shadow moved against the wall. Its shape human but wrong, its limbs too long, its fingers curled like claws. Meanwhile, Ethan and Rachel stumbled into a grand chamber dominated by an antique mirror stretching from floor to ceiling. Its surface, though marred by time, did not reflect only them. In the glass, spectral figures lingered, faces twisted in anguish, mouths moving in silent screams. Then the whisper returned. "You cannot leave." The temperature plummeted. Rachel staggered backward as an unseen force gripped her wrist, cold as death. In the library, Mark's skepticism shattered when a spectral figure stepped into view, its face both sorrowful and enraged. He locked eyes with it, and for a split second, he felt something reach into him, peeling back his soul like old wallpaper. Lisa's breath hitched, a faint lullaby drifted through the room, an ancient melody played by unseen hands. Before she could move, fingers, cold, bony, real, wrapped around her ankle. She screamed. And then she was gone. The mirror's curse. In the central chamber, Ethan and Rachel watched in horror as the mirror warped. It no longer showed the present, it reflected the past. Blackwood ancestors conducting rituals, blood staining the floor, victims pleading, a monstrous shadow stretching toward them. Rachel tried to pull Ethan away, but something held him in place. The spectral figures in the mirror stepped out, their hollow eyes locked onto him. His own reflection smiled, but his face in the glass was not his own. Rachel screamed as an apparition reached for Ethan. His body seized, his mind cracking under the weight of terror. The walls breathed, the house groaning as it consumed them. Somewhere in the manor, Mark's choked screams faded. Lisa was lost in the darkness. Rachel and Ethan were the last ones standing, but not for long. Blackwood feeds again. At dawn, the town was silent. The police found only remnants, a shattered mirror, a diary filled with frantic scribbles, and a recording that played a single chilling message: "You're next." No bodies, no signs of forced entry. Just another group of missing souls added to the legend of Blackwood Manor. But the curse did not end there. The reflection that wasn't hers. Weeks later, Rachel Carter's apartment manager reported strange occurrences, flickering lights, whispers through the vents, and a terrifying anomaly. Her reflection didn't always move in sync with her. One night, she vanished. The only thing out of place in her apartment? A shattered mirror. No glass on the floor, just bloody handprints trailing up the wall and into the ceiling. The return to Blackwood Manor. Months later, a paranormal investigation team, Dark Truths, decided to prove the legends wrong. They never stood a chance. The door slammed shut behind them. Their cameras captured something in every frame, a tall, skeletal figure lurking in the background, but they never saw it with their own eyes. Then the whispers began. Welcome back. Julia, the audio specialist, froze. Did you hear that? The others shook their heads, but the recording devices picked up everything, and the voice was Rachel's. You shouldn't have come. The house shuddered. The mirrors rippled, and from upstairs, a scream, a voice they should never have heard again. Lisa's. Fear turned into panic. James made the worst decision of his life. They split up. The last warning, the first to vanish, was Julia. Dragged into a mirror, her final whisper lingered in the air. Help me. James was next, pulled into the glass, his silent screams trapped in the reflection. One by one, the house claimed them all. Only Eric escaped. When the police found him, he was in shock, repeating the same warning over and over. Don't look in the mirrors. Don't listen to the whispers. Don't let them see you. Blackwood Manor still stands, waiting. And if one night you hear a whisper telling you to turn around, don't.